Cut a slab of metal. Take a piece of tinsel and put it on the tree. Cut a slab of melon and pretend that you still love me. Carve out a pumpkin and rely on your destiny. Get in your car and cruise the land of the brave and free. Don't forget to understand exactly what you put on the tree. Don't believe the florist when he tells you that the roses are free. Take a wrinkled raisin and do with it what you will. Push it into third if you know you're gonna climb a hill. Eat plenty of lasagna till you know that you've had your fill. Resist all the urges that make you wanna go out and kill. But don't forget to understand exactly what you put on the tree. Don't believe the florist when he tells you that the roses are free. a piece of tinsel and put it on the tree.
Just living on a Sunday morning, got my toast and tea and a woman. I just thought I'd think about all the
it's gonna make him change. I'm just a boy with a new haircut, and that's a pretty nice haircut. Charging like a puzzle, hitmen wearing muzzles. Hesitate to die, look around, around. The second drummer drowned, his telephone is found. Music scene is crazy, bands start up each and every day. I saw another one just the other day, a special new band. I don't remember lying, I don't remember a line, I don't remember a word, but I don't care, I care, I really don't care. Did you see the drummer's head? Advertising looks and chops a must. No big hair! Songs mean a lot when songs are bought, and so are you. Face right down to the practice room. Tension and fame's a career, 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 career,
RITER Radio is a BKR Media production.
Welcome to the morning meeting, everybody. Or should I say the whenever you decide to show up meeting?
I said the hip, hop, the hippie, the hippie, the hip, hip, hop, and you don't stop the rocket to the bang, bang, boogie, say up, up, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what the hell is to the twist, I'm ripping to the beat. I'm here, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. See, I am Wonder Man, and I'd like to say hello. I to the black, to the white, the red, and the blue, the purple, and yellow. But first I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie.
The first words I'm saying. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you, microphone. The first thing you're obviously going to notice is how goddamn good I look today, right? That's the first thing you see. Like, wow, that dude is stunning for a human being doing a show from his basement in front of a fake wooden wall. My God, is that a handsome old man? And you are not wrong. I am irresistible right now, thanks to Buffalo Trim. We're back to Buffalo Trim. So we got to figure something out because Buffalo Trim and the financial guys are the two main sponsors of Brain Vault that doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to move the sponsorship over to the show for now. Hope that they're okay with it because we have an agreement. We did 3 weeks of the show instead of 6 weeks of the show. I needed a haircut anyway. It wasn't so much that I needed a haircut. It was that my son, Nate, looked awful. It was a disaster. He hasn't had a real haircut since pre-COVID. And I do an okay job. I did an okay job of cutting my kids' hair when they had no opinions or I didn't allow for their opinions and I just gave them the haircut that I know how to give, which is honestly pretty similar to this. I could do this to myself if I could take my head off, set it down, cut my hair, but I'd still need another version of my head. So I'd need a duplicate head. I'd put the duplicate head on a thing and I could cut, but I can't see back here to do it myself. So Buffalo Trim is the place. And I trimmed this myself with their guidance. Like that, I got Isabel at Buffalo Trim on, where is it? North French, right near Transit Road. They have 6 locations, but that's one of them. And that's who I went to get cleaned up for Brain Vault. And this time I just got haircut. No beard, no color, nothing like that. Just cut my hair. And then I came home and I needed, my beard was too scruffy to match the beautiful haircut I was given on up here. So I came home and I did this all myself. But this is I mean, go back and look at yesterday's show. I look like garbage. And today I look unbelievable. Really. I mean, that's for me. I just mean for me. I don't mean for a person. I don't look good for a person. I look good for Brad. That's all I'm looking for. Be all that you can be at Buffalo Trim. Yeah, I thought I had their taglines and stuff all written. I'm sure I do. You wouldn't believe the number of sheets of paper that are here because I just let things pile up. I used to have... I mean, their general statement is, once you try us, you're not going to go anywhere else. That's the basic concept. But I wanted to phrase it the exact way that they do, but I can't because I don't have it here. It's probably my Brain Vault folder somewhere. Good enough. My phone number is on the screen. Yeah. You can call it 288-5246. It's right there. It's not it's like a Google number, but it makes my phone ring. You want to call that, you can make my phone ring. You want to call that, honestly, Nick in Depew. Nick in Depew is here all the time. I know right now, it does say Nick is the #1 fan for today. And Nick has said in the past, like, he would never call. He doesn't want to be a part. He likes listening. He likes participating. He likes chatting. That's fine. But in the chat, just before I went on the air, he said something along the lines of, I don't know how people, he said, Brad, Jeremy, Joe, etc., can talk for as long as they do in one sitting or something. So, but today I feel like I could rant for 2 hours about the NHL and the trade deadline. Here's my trade deadline situation. As you know, if you're a regular listener, I mean, this is episode 269, and it took until about episode 250 or so before I started acknowledging, like, hey, the Sabres are something. We did it early a couple times. Last year when I was doing the show on the radio station in Lockport, I had John Warrow as my hockey guy. And every time the Sabres would win a couple games, they'd win, 2 or 3 games in a row, I'd be like, John, you got to come on. And he'd come on. I'd be like, what's going on? What does that mean? 3 wins. He's like, nothing. It's not anything. And then we would talk about music. And that was cool. But somewhere around, well, obviously December 10th is where it officially flipped. But 3 games into that streak, I had Paul Hamilton on. And I said, Paul, is this anything? And he's like, well, they're playing better. But they need like 10 wins in a row for this to mean anything. And then they ripped off 7 more wins after those 3, and they got to 10 before finally losing a game. Then they won a few, lost one, won a few, lost one. And they've been kind of on that pace ever since. It's like win 3, lose 1. Currently on a 4-game winning streak coming out of the Olympic break. And wouldn't you know it, now's the time, today into tomorrow. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. is the NHL trade deadline. And the Sabres are cruising with a new GM who has not yet actually made any sort of roster moves. Like, everything is fixed because Kevin Adams is out and Yarmo's in. But he hasn't, like, put his fingerprints on it yet. Aside from whatever sort of motivational use it or lose it kind of situation he put the team in, whatever he has said has been great. Whatever he has done to, correct the structure of the team and make people accountable, it's almost like, I'm not going to say his work is done here, but you get that team to motivate itself, you get that team to start answering to each other, and suddenly it's a whole different vibe. Like, they're out there every night planning to win. It happened again on Tuesday against Vegas. They're in action tonight. Looking for it to continue. Looking for a 5-game streak. The standings are beautiful, and the deadline is here. So now's the time to improve the team. And the trade deadline used to be one of my favorite days of the year in all of sports. It was just so fun and exciting. The rumor mill was interesting. And then trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and then waiting for something to jump from, hockey buzz over to TSN. Like, TSN makes it real. ESPN, even. Sportsnet in Canada. There's something called the fourth period. I haven't checked to see if they're still around, but the fourth period was a thing. Man, did I love sitting around on that day, like setting an alarm to get up early when I knew I wasn't working till nighttime. Getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to just refresh websites, see what was going on. TSN Trade Tracker. I haven't opened that. I haven't opened that in years. But it's time. When I was filling in on GR a couple weeks ago, I had Owen Parker on with me. And I told him, I need you to help me understand things because I am not fully up to speed on the Sabres in the way that I used to be. I'd still put myself in the upper half of fans as far as my knowledge of what's going on. But having disregarded the league for as long as I have because the team isn't good and I've got 3 kids and I'm at baseball and basketball things more often than I'm sitting down watching hockey. I respect that I need a little help, especially with like things around the league. I also need help with understanding what's true and what's not. I think we all need that. We all need that in life because of just the death of truth. The fact that anyone can put anything online and then people who don't know if it's real will share it. And the next thing you know, it reaches critical mass and something that's not true is out there as if it is true. And I don't know what to do with that. So now couple that with hockey where trade rumors have been crazy forever. Those of you who've been with me for years and years and years will know this story, but I'll tell it anyway. Back when I was working at BEN with Bulldog. Bulldog had a show at night, and I was his producer, and that was, every day. I'd get in there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We would go on at 6 o'clock, and we would be on until 11 o'clock. It was a full 8 hours of producing one talk show. And one of the things we noticed is that trade rumors didn't seem to be really based in reality at all. So we decided on the air to start a trade rumor. And the way we did it was we talked openly about the fact that this was not legitimate. This is not anything. This is just a conversation between the two of us. This is, I don't even know, 98? Maybe 98, maybe 90, maybe 99. But one of those years. I could definitely figure it out because I got to figure out the Islanders played the Sabres the night before the deadline, or 2 nights before the deadline, but right beforehand. It was a home game against the New York Islanders. Anyway, weeks in advance of that game, as the rumor mill was swirling, what we did was have a conversation about what the Sabres needed. And we were thinking stay-at-home defenseman was the way that they were going to shore up their team heading into the playoffs. And we decided to target Rich Pilon. Rich Pilon, defenseman, New York Islanders. And we had a conversation that was we were very open about the fact that it was a fake conversation. Like we were play acting, if you will. It was a radio play where one of us said, the Sabres could use a stay-at-home defenseman. It's like, yeah, they definitely could use a stay-at-home defenseman. It's back and forth, back and forth. You know who I bet his contract is expiring is Rich Pilon. Rich Pilon would be a good fit for the Sabres. Yeah. I heard Rich Pilon would be a good fit for the Sabres. Where'd you hear that? Well, I heard it from you. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that does make sense. And then we just moved on, and we kept going and going. And it was like a 10-minute thing where we fabricated a Rich Pilon to the Sabres rumor, and then we stopped. We said, all right, let's see what happens. and we just let it go away. And this is I'm not going to say pre-internet, because the internet existed, but it was not what it is today. But sure enough, by the time the Islanders rolled into town, all the reporters were gathered around Rich Pilon to talk about whether or not this was going to be, or how he felt knowing that this might be his last game with the Islanders, and the next time he plays at then Marine Midland Arena, he might be in the other dressing room. And it worked. Like, it wasn't, because the idea did make sense. They did need that at the time. But we just put his name into it openly, blatantly, saying, this is not real. This is just us talking. And by the time the deadline hit, that was the talk. So even back then, in 98 or 99, there was no reasonable way to know what was real and what was not real. Cut to 2026, and I was driving around yesterday a lot with the kids. It doesn't even matter, but I had GR on, and every time, like, one of the kids would be talking to me, like, hold on. I'm trying to hear if any of this is real, because it was all about acquiring this guy, trading for that guy, a lot of St. Louis Blues talk, the Robert Thomas thing that we talked about yesterday that's dead, but let's see. And then suddenly it was very difficult to tell, having not listened straight through, just getting tidbits of information, whether this Colton Parayko thing is legit. And I have since settled on it is legit, and we're waiting on whether or not he approves a move. 6'6" defenseman, 32 years old, from the Blues. And like the official, if you can call it that, the official report from ESPN says Colton Parayko heading to Sabres in deal with Blues pending approval. Now, if you tuned into GR all this morning and all yesterday afternoon and you know all of the details of this, good for you. I'm just telling you, from my perspective, as a not quite insider, I do not understand what's going on right now. Is it real? Is it not real? This is all mixed in at the exact same time as NFL players are being cut, except they're not being cut. They're just being told they're cut. And then they're putting it on social media that they're getting cut, but it can't happen until Monday because the new league year doesn't start yet. Like, there's so much kind of information, and it's usually I'm like derailing the lack of truth on the internet because I feel like people are lying. Now it's not lying. It's just there's a lot of almost stuff in the news with regard to player contracts. With, Kyler Murray is released by the Cardinals. But if you go on their website right now, he's on their roster because they can't release him because it's not time yet. So it's going to happen. Stephon Diggs, same thing. We went to my son Nate, went to Buffalo Trim to get our hair cut. And on the way there, he said, I heard Diggs got released. And I said, well, there's no way he got released because it's not time to release him. He might have been informed he's being released. His contract might be up. I don't know the whole story, but I'm sure you're probably right or mostly right, or you've got the gist of the story you've got in your head. It's correct. And while we're at Buffalo Trim watching one of their multiple televisions, I see Stephon Diggs was informed he will be released when the new league year begins. And he outwardly, reported that himself. Like, I'm going to be gone. Thanks, New England. All of this is to say at 11 o'clock, my friend Owen Parker is going to come on and set me straight. Because I was using him not just as a hockey guy, but as a young guy. He's 24 years old. I'm 51. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know how the world works. I don't know how information flows. He's in the thick of it. Not only is he young, but he's been working on the morning show for a year at GR. He gets all of it. I need an expert. I needed a hockey guy. I don't want to bother, let's just say, Paul Hamilton. Paul is my hockey guy. For years, that's the dude I talk to about hockey. But Paul's really busy right now because he's the reporter for the sports station, and he's the hockey guy. And it's the deadline, and the team is good. There's a lot going on. I didn't want to bother Paul. I thought about who can I get, and then I thought Owen. Owen was so perfect to fill in when Tim Graham was out 2 weeks ago when I was on. He was perfect to help me understand. I can get caught up on the Sabres. I have gotten caught up on the Sabres quickly. I don't know the whole NHL. I used to know all the people in the NHL. I don't know the people anymore. So Colton Parayko, I've heard the name. I know he was on Team Canada. I assume that's good. But is that the right fit for the Sabres? I'm not the person to say that. So I need OP. So Owen's going to check in about half an hour from right now. But the story right now is the Sabres have a deal in place to acquire Colton Parayko from the Blues as long as the veteran waives his no-movement clause. TSN was first to report on the deal. He's 32 in the fourth year of an 8-year, $32 million contract. Recently competed for Team Canada in the Olympics. Was a key member of the St. Louis Stanley Cup winning team in 2019. Sabres looking to snap the longest playoff drought in NHL history, blah, blah, blah. Parayko at 6'6" would bring ample playoff experience as well as physical presence to the Sabres blue line. The Blues will likely miss the playoffs, which has GM Doug Armstrong telling other teams he's open for business. Armstrong was also the GM of Canada's Olympic teams, has engaged in discussions about several veteran players, including goalie Jordan Binnington, forwards Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Braden Shen, and defenseman Justin Falk. According to sources, the Blues and Sabres had discussed a deal for Thomas earlier in the week, but that fell through. That part is crazy. That part's stupid. It fell through. Nope. Deadline. Jeremy was on yesterday. He said the exact same thing. Like, oh, it fell through, but the deadline's Friday? Okay. So you were just kind of premature on reporting that it was happening then? Maybe. Would not be surprising if that's a factor as well. There are obviously conversations happening between... That's the one thing I'm comfortable saying. Conversations between the Sabres and Blues exist. And we'll see what it all means. And I'm not going to speculate any further right now until I've got Owen on in about half an hour. Does that make sense? God, I look good. It's not that I look good for a person. Again, it's just a relative term. Compared to yesterday, I was looking at myself in the thing yesterday and thinking, I need a haircut. I need something. Something's got to happen. And you should have seen Nate. Nate's a disaster. Nate, my dad, after Nate's basketball game the other day, he's always got a hood up or a hat on or something so you don't see how stupid his hair looks. And my dad, after his basketball game the other day, touched him on the head, like, good game, buddy. And then he said, Nate, when you get home, do me a favor. Take a shower and wash your hair a bunch of times. Not once, like a bunch. I have a new theory on how to get Nate to wash his hair. If you've got kids, you'll understand. Or if you've got a kid, a sloppy kid, you'll understand. My new theory is to tell him you're not washing your hair, you're washing your head. So that he's trying to get in there. You got to get in there. It's not just put shampoo on. It's get in there. Here's another thing about shampoo. Every bottle of shampoo you've ever purchased gives you instructions on what to do with it. Have you read them? Have you adhered to those? Because I'll be honest, I totally forgot about it until coming across a post on Reddit. I don't know how I ended up on the Reddit hygiene the hygiene subreddit of Reddit. But it was somebody who was like, hey, lather, rinse, repeat. Anybody do that? And I remember that phrase. I remember that phrase from a long time ago when I was a kid. Lather, rinse, repeat. How often in my life have I repeated? And the answer is not very often. But I started doing it. And the guy even said in the post, it's like, I thought this was a scam by Big Shampoo to get you to go through the bottle faster. And I think like that. So I think I probably subliminally thought the same thing, like repeat. Yeah, right. Oh, you should shampoo 14 times a day, so you use all the shampoo. No. It's real. The first time gets like a layer of oil or grease, something off, and then the second time you're actually cleaning it. And since reading that, it's like a month ago, every time I take a shower, I'm doing the repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Answer me in the chat honestly. Do you repeat? Do you lather and rinse and repeat? because I recommend it. I'm Brad Ryder here for repeat. It's a big part of the plan. Anyway, Nate hasn't been doing that. And he hasn't had a real haircut in a long time. And he doesn't accept the standard, this kind of haircut that I give to kids. So his hair it was a disaster. And now he looks like a regular boy again. And I like it. And I thank Isabel at Buffalo Trim, the North French location. There are 6 locations. You can choose any one of them. How about this? This is crazy. I was texting with Isabel, my stylist. What do you call it? I tried to say this to my dad yesterday. I'm like, she's my barber. He's like, I think it's barbarous. I said, all right, well, my barbarous, Isabel at Buffalo Trim, I texted her to see if she was going to be around because I needed her to be there at 4 o'clock or later on a weekday so I could get Nate he walks home from school. Get Nate from school, get him in the car, and we could both go. Because I needed to go to her. Him, I was just like, I'll take anybody. You sign in, you put your name, and then you get to pick who you want. And for me, I chose Isabel because she nailed it. And then I chose for Nate, whoever, I don't care. So he got to go first. I texted with her to make sure she was going to be there yesterday. She said yes. Try to get there, as close to 4 as possible because we're going to get busy because she's going on vacation and people are coming, all this stuff. You can't make an appointment. You just sign in. So I made that deal. I'm like, all right, 4 o'clock, we're going. As soon as Nate's home, I was in the driveway waiting for him to walk home. I had him get right in the car. He didn't even come in the house. We went to get haircuts, and I'm glad we did because she was right. It did get mobbed, but it got mobbed right after I sat down in the chair, which is perfect. So I make the deal with her. It's not an appointment. It's just like, yeah, that's when you should come. I go upstairs to tell my wife, hey, Nate and I are going for a haircut as soon as he gets home from school. She says, cool. I get a text within 3 minutes of that. I get a text, and it's from my mom, and it's a picture. She's like, hey, could you use this? It's a picture of coupons that arrived in the mail for Buffalo Trim. And the picture, I should have put this up. It's one for a men's haircut and one for a kid's haircut. It's $4 off one and $3 off the other, whatever, $7 off of the thing that I just agreed to do 3 minutes before my mom sent me a picture of coupons for the place that I was going to do it. I was like, yeah, I called her. Like, are you serious? It felt like the thing when you talk about something and then the Facebook ad shows up, which I did have happen recently. It was crazy, actually. I'll tell that story in a second. But anyway, it wasn't that. She wasn't spying on me. It turns out she did know that Nate and I were planning on going to Buffalo Trim at some point and got this thing in the mail and said, hey, maybe he can use it. But the timing of it was unbelievable. As far as your phone listening to you, how about this one? This is not just listening. This is like tracking GPS or whatever. I went one night, I don't know, let's say 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because it was during the GR thing when I wasn't doing the show. Because this would have come up on this show for sure. GR, we have to be a little more sports-centric. But here I can do whatever I want because what are you going to do about it, right? We had a night where my kids have way too many sports practices and games and things. But on a night when we don't have anything going on, they very often will be like, hey, can we rent a cage and go, practice pitching or practice hitting or catch it, whatever. And so I did that, and I went to All In Sports, which is my indoor baseball facility of choice, in part because it's the closest one to my house. But also, I like it there. I like the people there. I like the vibe. And we have a membership because that's what's nice. When you have travel kid who practices there, it comes with a 1-year membership. So at any point, you can just rent a cage anytime for free. It's just a part of it. So I did that, and we were there for an hour. It was me, Nate, and Drew, my 2 youngest, the 2 baseball players. We get home from that. I sit down in the living room watching something with my wife, open up my phone. I went on Facebook. The first ad that came up was a Temu thing which is not shocking. However, it was Temu, and it was exclusively about products for baseball training. It was baseball, pitching, a pitchback, net, catcher's equipment, radar gun, all this. It was an ad for all the stuff that was in the room that I had just been in half an hour earlier. And that to me is one of the craziest, because, I'm sure we were talking about baseball while we were there. So there's kind of a standard thing. We know the mic picks up what you're saying, and the next thing you know, you're getting ads served to you. But I don't know that we talked about anything. My phone was in a bucket, but my phone knew where it was. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, you like training baseball players. Here are some tools you could purchase to train baseball players. Not from the microphone. Certainly from where my phone was. My phone was inside of a baseball facility for an hour. And then when I got out of there, it's like, man, you want to do a baseball facility at your house? Here's all the stuff for it. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Let's check out the chat, I guess. Sure. There's a lot going on in the chat. Very active. All right. Bradley, what's for dinner? Yeah. I actually did answer what's for dinner today before the show. Because he said, somebody said it seems like pasta tonight. It's not pasta tonight. We did that already. We did pasta and chicken parm. Then we did a soup night. And then we did meatloaf last night. And today we've got baseball practice and basketball playoff game, which reminds me I have to tell one of the coaches we're not coming to a basketball practice because we have a playoff game. Forgot about that. I'll do that during a break. All right. Beyond this, I mentioned the Wegmans pre-made meatloaf. I used to fancy myself a meatloaf maker. It always turns out greasy. It's never as good as the pre-made Wegmans one. It's just not as good, so I stopped trying. And there's a part of me that says I should try it again. I don't think I should. All I'm trying to do is make it the equivalent of the thing I could just buy at the store. There's no reason to do that. It's not going to work. It's going to be greasy and terrible. All right. This is the comment I already mentioned. Nick said, normally I don't get how Brad, Jared, Joe, etc. can speak for so long. But today, I feel like I could rant for 2 hours on no trade and no move BS in the NHL. So dumb. Niagara Grit then says, Sabres viewing party in Brad's basement, Saturday, 5 p.m., BYOB, $5 a person for Lenova Pizza and Wings. We do have a Lenova fairly close to us, and it is delicious. Can't go wrong. You're not invited. You guys are not invited to my house. I don't know that I'll be home at 5. I'm sure we have a baseball game. All right. Nick says, it reminds me of the Darius Slay fiasco. Yeah, a little bit. This isn't really a fiasco. The Darius Slay thing was stupid in that they made a trade for a guy who had no interest in coming here and then just decided he wasn't going to play anymore. He was only waived so he could go back to Philly, and the Bills didn't do their due diligence. I don't know that Brandon Beane got hammered enough on that. Like, you made the claim. I get it. Like, on paper, it pops up. You wake up in the morning, you're scrolling through your phone. Darius, yeah, we claim him. We'll take Darius Slay. That would be helpful. Because in theory, it would have been helpful. You would have rather had him than not. But then having to cut somebody to put him on the roster, and then that somebody gets picked up by Houston, Jamarcus Ingram. I almost said Jamarcus Russell. I know Ingram. Played at UB. Jamarcus Ingram goes away. And that was some of the friction between the head coach and the GM. I know they're pretending that McDermott's firing had nothing to do with Beam. But that's insane. But yeah, that was a problem. That was different. That's not the same as this. I get no trade clauses. That makes sense to me. If I'm a veteran, it's like, all right, I agree. I agree to play for you for 4 years. But I need you to sign this part that says you agree also that I will play for you for 4 years. Otherwise, I'm going to sign somewhere else. I don't want to keep moving. It makes sense to me. And then, think about it at your job. Wherever you work, if they just decided we're trading you to St. Louis, you'd be like, I don't want it, but I don't want to go to St. Louis. I live in this house. I bought this house. My kids go to these schools. My wife had, well, NHL player, your wife maybe doesn't have a job, but that's not the point. This is where we are. This is where our friends are here. We're comfortable here. She's on the PTA. She likes her yoga instructor. I got a mechanic I like here. We got a pool. We got this pool. How am I going to find a pool? That kind of stuff. We just put in a pool. This contract that allowed me to put in a pool. Now I got to leave my pool? I don't want to leave my pool. I can see that. I don't want to get traded. I don't want to get shipped somewhere. So I especially as a veteran, like you've earned the right. You're a free agent, and you're shopping, or you're like, you can go anywhere you want, and teams are making you offers. I absolutely would say, yeah, I would like minimally to be consulted on where you are sending me and my family to live. I get that. I hope he waives it. I hope he clears it, says, yeah, I'll go play for Buffalo. Sounds good. We'll see. All right. I take credit for Owen on the show. Why do you take credit for Owen on the show? Tell Owen I said hi. Buffalo Trim. Phone number, screen, da-da-da. What is this? What are you having for dinner? Not sure. I'm sick AF. And Coach Jr. has a science fair thing at school tonight. All right. AC pretending to be a fan again. I thought Coach hated this show and Brad. I like Brad. I only pick on people I like. AC killed Brain Vault. Big O nice. Owen carries everyone. NTCs are dumb. You chose this career that has risks of being moved, and you get paid very well for it. Suck it up. Don't agree. I don't agree with that. You also chose where you wanted to play and signed a contract with that team because they made you an offer that you liked. And within that offer, I don't think it's unreasonable to say, hey, do you promise? You promise I don't have to go to Calgary? I agree to move to St. Louis, not to move to St. Louis and then have you send me somewhere else. That makes sense to me. Seriously, it's not like he's being sent to Iran. It's Buffalo. AC, Owen already explained the players take less money to get no movement clause. Yeah. I got teamed up on for saying it this morning. They're still getting paid millions. Suck it up. Yeah, you are getting paid millions. But also you chose to play for that team and had that put into your contract so that they would uphold their end of the bargain. Think of it the other way. Think of it the other way. If Colton Parayko is playing for the Blues and he's just like, you know what? My family is moving to Buffalo. The Blues be like, wait a minute. No, you agreed to play here. You can't just go to Buffalo. You signed this thing. We had the deal. Yeah, I know. But circumstances have changed, and I prefer Buffalo in the spring, as most do. That would be crazy. So a player saying, all right, I will work for you, but can you just add this part that says that I will work for you? This is where I work. Got a 4-year deal for me to work here. And it's not preventing movement. It's, if anything changes, you got to talk to me about it. I get this. I want this in life. I don't want to get traded. You don't want to get traded. None of us want to get traded. But the circumstance might be cool. And you might be like, oh, you're going to trade me to that team that's better than this team, that has a better chance of doing things, where things are really on an upward trajectory? Yeah, sounds great. I can see that. They chose a career. The career also allowed no movement clauses. Allows. Why do kids lie about using soap and shampoo in the shower? I have no idea. My youngest, I don't want to say he's the best one. He's the best as far as like honesty and openness and disclosure. But he'll be like, I never partake in this, but my wife will say, did you brush your teeth? And he'll come over. Instead of just saying, yeah, he'll come over and breathe on her face. Like that. Like, okay, you're minty. You're good. Thanks, Drew. The other two, you wouldn't want to get anywhere near him. If we didn't make Nate wash, brush teeth, use a comb, change his clothing. Like, he wouldn't do any of it if we didn't make him. That's the middle guy. He looks so much more like a human after getting one haircut from Buffalo Trim. Good for him. All right. I'm on team repeat as far as shampoo. Good. I repeat 3 times. Especially the boys down below. All right. There's a famous scene in Lizzie McGuire where Ethan Kraft says to Lizzie's mom, the trick is to not repeat to get good hair. I've never seen Lizzie McGuire. I'm aware. Realistically, it all depends on how much hair you have. Also, if you care about sulfates or not. My Manscaped razor came in the mail yesterday. Old one broke. Got Amazon. Growing. Going to put that baby to work when I get out of work. All right, it's good to know. Thanks. I disagree, Brad. That kind of money, you should be able to trade wherever. No. Quote, you're a good hockey player, and we are willing to pay you millions of dollars to be a pro with the understanding that we might send you to play for another team if we feel it benefits our team. Right. Okay, so that's where they start. And then you say, how about this? You keep some of that money, but also add in this part that says I don't have to just go wherever the hell you say I have to go. You don't own me. I work for you. I work for you. I agree to work for you. I do not agree to you making me work for somebody else. No trade clause should be a part of every contract. Really. And it's not no trade. It's you've got to consult with me. You got an idea of how to make your team better and put me in a different situation? Well, that's fine. But you have to talk to me, and then I have to approve it. Now, if I'm a player who gets traded or who is asked to be traded or however you want to put it, there's a deal in place. The team comes to me like, we want you to leave. And you're like, I'm not leaving. I signed a thing. I think pretty quickly you'd arrive at a place in your head, you're like, well, they don't want me here. Why do I want to stay? And as long as it's not an awful situation. Like somebody said, it's Buffalo, it's not Iran. Right. It's not Iran. So, all right, yeah, Buffalo, that seems fine. I'll go there. I think I would land on that eventually. Like, I have the no trade clause so that you have to consult with me. But now you've told me that you think your team will be made better by me leaving. I don't know that I want to work here anymore. And maybe that takes a day or two to decide, to arrive at that conclusion, where the best thing to do is move. I want to talk about this with Owen Parker. He gets it better than I do. I'm speaking just as like a person. I don't want to get traded to St. Louis. And if I live in St. Louis, I don't want to get traded to Buffalo. None of us want to get traded. And if we've earned the right to ask for that thing in the contract, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I hope it works out. I hope the Sabres get the guy that they're trying to get. But I'm not mad at a guy for having a no trade clause. That's fine by me. All right. We'll be right back. Owen Parker is going to join me. It's RITER Radio. It's episode 269. And we'll continue in just a moment.
swinging that stick, driving me crazy. Voodoo lady. Oh, yeah.
some gang vocals. I'm gonna get all the children involved. We're gonna get lost on all you locals. We'll be a shade shy of true wickedness. We'll be a shade shy of truly lovingness. Yeah, there are other things we'd rather be doing, sure. Even nothing, even nothing, even nothing with you. We'll load out through the snow, through small groups of people smoking. Hey, get that kick drum loaded into the backseat, folded down. We'll go virtually unnoticed. What's gripping the city ain't hitting the town. We'll be a shade shy of true wickedness. We'll be a shade shy of truly loving it. Now there are other things that we'll surely miss. We'll load out through the snow, through small groups of people smoking. Hey, get that kick drum loaded into the backseat, folded down. We'll go perfectly unnoticed. What's gripping the city ain't hitting the town.
We continue RITER Radio episode 269. I mentioned bringing in a special guest, it's Owen Parker. He got very, very dressed up for the occasion, as you'll be able to see here in a second when I hit the right button. There it is. All right, here we go. It's me and Owen dressed in, I don't know if that's considered a tux. I guess it's a tux. You don't need a bow tie to be a tux. It's Owen in a tux. He was 6 at the time. He's 24 now. That's our wedding. That was my wedding. Oh, and I'm using the picture again. I'm using the funny picture of you holding our rings as the ring bearer in my wedding in 2009 as my guest. So it's me live, looking old, and then you on camera looking very young. Hi, O.
Oh, yes. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I am great. Ready for, it's been an exciting couple of days here. We got another exciting 26 or so hours ahead of us.
Yeah, catch me up. Okay, so we did this a couple weeks ago when I was on GR. I was asking you for help in sort of catching up on the Sabres a little bit, but really the league in general, and also on how to follow information. Trade deadline day was one of my favorite things a long time ago, and it was all about rumors and kind of knowing what to believe and what not to believe. And as I expressed to you very openly, I don't know how to find truth online anymore. And now we also factor in no trade clauses or non-movement clauses or whatever you want to call it. What has happened? What I found myself yesterday, like getting 5 and 10 minute chunks of GR. And I just kept telling the kids, like, be quiet. I want to hear if this is a trade or it's a rumor or what's happening. So, like, the Parayko thing seems like it's a real thing and we're waiting on him, I guess. The Thomas thing doesn't I heard it's dead, but there's no way to say it's dead when the deadline didn't happen yet. So, I don't know. Just big picture, let's start with Sabres Blues. What's going on? What do we know to be true? What's speculation? What's not? Just hook me up, O.
All right. So, well, we know that early in the week that Jarmo Kekalainen was having conversations with the St. Louis Blues GM, Doug Armstrong, about forward Robert Thomas, who is a centerman, 80-point guy, like really, really good player, signed to a long-term contract at a decent number, the kind of guy that doesn't get moved very often.
Right.
So that was all very exciting. We learned on Monday or Tuesday, like the Sabres are in this and they're front runners, and we're waiting to see. It's sort of like get this across the finish line, and we think we're there, sort of a situation. And as you mentioned, it's kind of tough to know what to believe anymore because the morning after everybody gets all excited, we spend all day talking about it on GR, all that, blah, blah, blah. Drager comes out, same guy that tweeted that it was happening. No, the Sabres don't want to meet the price. And that's, that happens, but it felt as though it was spoken about like it was about to be a done deal, and then somebody got cold feet. So that was early. And then the conversation very quickly shifted to, well, there's still business that could be done between these two teams without Thomas at the center of it, because we know the Sabres are looking for a bigger right shot D, and the Blues have got a guy in Colton Parayko, and two guys really, Justin Falk fits that bill as well, that are attractive to suitors of that nature. And so we quickly got to, well, now they're talking about Parayko, and we're worried about, well, what's that return going to look like? And so we get yesterday night, now it's, all right, Sabres are trading for Parayko now, pending his approval and his release of his no movement, no trade clause, which gives him the right to essentially nix any trade request that the Blues bring him. So we're really waiting right now in limbo to find out whether Colton Parayko wants to come live in Buffalo, which is not a great spot to be when you know you've accepted the terms of what you want to give up and you know you want the player, and now it's just does the player want to come. So it's a touchy spot right now. We haven't heard anything yet today, but we're hoping to by tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Do those sirens that we just heard in the background have anything to do with your driving?
No, they do not. I am a perfect driver, Brad. I don't know if you know this about
I don't.
me, but I am as good as it gets.
No, I know you as a
over
ring
there.
bearer, Owen. You were 6. I don't know 24-year-old Owen. I know 6-year-old Owen, and you would have been a terrible driver when you were 6. So
I think I agree with you.
I'm just making sure. All right, so let's say you are the player in question here, and you have learned that your team wants to trade you, and you've got time because the deadline's not till 3 o'clock tomorrow. Wouldn't you eventually land on, I don't want to be in a place where they didn't want me. Let's go try this other thing out. I think that's where I would land. I don't know for sure. And also, what are your thoughts on no trade clauses, non-movement clauses, whatever we're calling them in this era? Because to me, it makes total sense that when you're negotiating, especially if you're a UFA and you're negotiating a contract and you've got multiple teams that might be interested in you, finding one where it's a fit and then saying, I'd like to be here, but I just want you to sign this other part that says that you're actually going to keep me too, because I don't get to decide to move to Buffalo, but you could decide to ship me to Buffalo or Calgary or Winnipeg or wherever. I get it. I respect it. I think it's a valuable part of the league, and I think it makes sense. But I also think that once I heard a team wanted to trade me, it'd take about 48 hours for me to go, well, if they didn't want me here, I'm not going to force them to keep me here. So I think I'm going to go. So that's what I would do. But I don't know. Just your thoughts on all of that. Where's Owen? Lost you. Said you hung up. I'm good to reconnect if you are. That was such a long. I'm just going to call you back. Oh, that stinks. I asked such.
Hello, I got you.
I asked you such a long question, and then you weren't there, and then I saw your text that said that you weren't there anymore.
The worst. I'm so sorry to have missed what I'm sure was an eloquent and beautifully crafted question.
I wish I could just rewind it and play it again. All right, I'll ask it in a shorter way this time. In the chat, it says that you got pulled over, that you were lying, and you actually. No, I believe you. I believe in you, O. No trade clause. If you were the player.
Yes.
Don't you, with 48 hours to think about it, say, I don't want to be in a place that just tried to trade me. I don't want to show up to work at a place that asked me to leave. Don't you do that? And then also, what sort of respect do you have for no trade clauses? I think they're good. I think they make sense. And I think they make sense for a player who, especially a UFA, who is weighing options. If one team is willing to say, yeah, you're here for 4 years, and if we don't want you here, we're going to consult with you. Like, that's all that a no trade really is. So I support it, but I've got people in the chat on my show who hate it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that discourse today too. So I'll start with the first part of your question. If I was Parayko in this situation, I would probably feel the same way that you're talking about. Like, you guys want to get rid of me. I don't want to stay if you want to get rid of me. So what am I doing? I don't want to do this. And so, you know, there's definitely a factor of like, well, what am I doing? If you don't want me, do I have to stay? Am I done? All right, no. I got to stay now for the rest of the year and hope that I get somewhere else that I would rather go. It can be a very touchy situation. The other side of that is he likely knows and the Blues likely know, well, if they're trying to do it now, then they're probably going to try and do it in the summer if they don't do it now. So if I really just have a problem with moving to Buffalo specifically, well, I'll just eat it. I'll play these last 25 games out as a Blue and hope that I get dealt somewhere like LA in the summer and hope for a better outcome that way. And in terms of the no move clause, I have heard that Brian Burke famously believes if you hand out a no movement clause, you respect it. You don't even ask the guy. If you want to trade that guy, you got to eat it because you gave him the clause. You got to deal with it. I tend to think you got to have a little more wiggle room than that. I mean, contracts get bought out, right? It's the same thing. So I think it's something that guys sacrifice salary money for. Like, I'm sure part of Colton Parayko's negotiations with the St. Louis Blues when he signed the contract he's currently on was, all right, what do I have to give back to you here to get the security to know you can't just trade me wherever you want? And I know guys take up to $1 million off their contracts to trade that money out for the security to know, all right, I can choose whether I want to leave or not.
Yeah, it's not no movement. It's you got to talk to me. And I think that's completely reasonable, and it's a negotiable thing. Everything's negotiable. Everything in life is negotiable. You just have to, you know, if you're choosing to sign that deal, it's like, you know, that guy doesn't get the option to just say, you know what, I know it's March, and there's a couple, you know, we've got 20 games left here, but I'm going to move to Buffalo now. He doesn't get to do that, and then the Blues are just like, all right. So it makes sense to me that, especially for veterans, especially, you know, just for guys who have earned the right to choose where they're going to be, that, you know, part of the agreement, part of the arrangement is you can't just rip this out from me and send me somewhere I don't want to be. Has there been any news at all on, like, what he's saying or what he's thinking out of Parayko's camp with regard to like, have we heard he hates Buffalo, or have we? It's just silence, and we're waiting to hear what the decision is.
It's been all quiet on that front from what I have seen and heard to this point. I know Parayko has missed the last couple games for the Blues with back spasms. That I don't know this, but that sounds to me like the kind of thing you do when you're trying to trade a guy and not let him get hurt.
Sure.
But I know he was at the Blues game last night in Seattle, around the locker room with the guys, but we did not hear anything. He did not speak, and we have not gotten any sort of, like, you know, somebody made him mad in Buffalo 8 years ago, so he doesn't want to live here. We have not gotten anything of that sort yet. I would assume that whatever way this decision goes, more likely if he decides not to, we will hear some sort of, well, doesn't want to leave his family, doesn't want to uproot, move farther ways from Edmonton. You know, there's a multitude of reasons the guys would say to, you know, soften the blow of, I don't want to come play for you in your city.
Right. That said, a team that's on the kind of tear that the Sabres are, with the kind of talent that we've kind of known they've had this whole time, and it's finally come together. I mean, it seems like an attractive place to land from a pure hockey standpoint, as far as, you know, whether you think this is a desirable city to live in or not. I mean, consult with any number of former and current NHL players who reside here, who never even why does Marcel Dion live in Amherst? I mean, or Clarence, or wherever he is. Like, explain that to me. This is a hockey hub, and I know Edmonton's different. The Southern Ontario people, it makes complete sense to live in Buffalo. An Edmonton person, maybe not, but it's not just about that. You could get, I don't know. It's not this desolate, you know, wasteland that it's been for many years. You know, when When Slava Kozlov got sent here as part of the Dominik Hasek trade, he was being sent here in part because Dominik Hasek was like, that's a piece that can go. Like, it was bad. Like, they were ditching Buffalo as a hockey city, and he got sent here, and I would have understood why he didn't want to show up here. When Darius Slay didn't want to come here because the only reason he was released is because he was about to go to Philadelphia, go back to Philadelphia. I get that. This, from a hockey standpoint, with another 24-plus hours before the deadline, I feel like the logical decision is to say, all right, that's where I'm going. Let's go win a cup. Like, that's kind of the plan. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, and I'm glad to hear there's no actual negative that has come out. It's just, he has to waive the thing, and that hasn't happened yet, so I'm okay with that. As far as the Thomas thing, I like that. Obviously, conversations are still ongoing between Buffalo and St. Louis, so Thomas becomes a very strong possibility still. There's nothing to a Darren Dreger report about a particular player going to a particular team. So there's something there. Calling it dead to me is crazy. And this is me kind of bucking my own point. Like, I trust Darren Dreger, but I also think that he's in the moment. In the moment, he has to say it's dead. But looking at, are you focused solely on this St. Louis situation, or are there other things around the league you're keeping an eye on from a Sabres standpoint?
I am definitely like that. The Blues as a whole is my main sort of focus right now. But I've got an eye on a few other things around the league, especially if this Parayko deal does end up falling through. The Sabres clearly feel they need to add a defenseman. So I would expect that if they get word like Parayko's not working, you guys are out of luck. They're not going to just go, all right, put their papers back in their bag and get out of town. Like, they're going to go out and try and find another guy. And the first name, that comes to mind, funnily enough, is former Sabre Rasmus Ristolainen, who is another bigger, heavier, good skating D-man with a bit of an edge, very similar to Parayko, not the same class of player. I think it would definitely be a downgrade from a Parayko, but that is the kind of move that I would expect to be made if the Sabres strike out on Parayko. I think the Thomas thing, as you mentioned, cannot be declared dead until we reach 3:01 tomorrow afternoon. I just don't see any reason that Jarmo Kekalainen couldn't call back and say, well, all right, I had this asset I was going to give you for this. What do you think? I can add a few more pieces and let's talk again. Mm-hmm. That is a very real possibility to me. I'm also looking at some sort of smaller depth forward moves. Vincent Trocheck is out there and is maybe the biggest sort of hottest name on the market right now that really fits a lot of what the Sabres are looking for lower in their lineup. Good on the kill, wins a lot of face-offs, defensively responsible. He would, to me, slide into the role that Jack Quinn is playing right now and just bring a little bit more of a defensive responsibility side to that line. But there's stuff flying around everywhere. Bobrovsky's been a name that's been out there today. Friedman connected him and the Sabres this morning, not by any sort of rumor, but just the Jarmo Kekalainen connection from their days in Columbus. That's another guy that, like, Florida is a total wild card. They could do anything. There is all kinds of names out there. So I think that we will, without a doubt, see the Sabres make some type of transaction before the 3 p.m. deadline tomorrow.
Yeah, it sounds like he's interested in being a part of this whole mix. When it comes to Parayko, what you mentioned, right-handed, he's 6'6", he's size. You compared him to Ristolainen. Like, what is the thing? We have confirmed that they're interested in that player. What is it about him that is, in your mind, the appeal? Like, what boxes is he checking?
I think that he brings, both him and Ristolainen both represent a little bit of a different skill set than the Sabres currently possess in their defensive core, which I already think is one of the premier in the NHL. What they do not have is a real sort of pure shutdown role, heavy, mean player. Matthias Samuelsson represents a good bit of that, but the way he's been playing this year, he is being deployed in offensive situations with Rasmus Dahlin. So if you want somebody that can be used defensive zone faceoffs, first penalty kill unit, that is the kind of role that Parayko and Ristolainen represent. They have a little bit more of a physical, nasty, mean edge, and they are more more focused on keeping the puck out of your own net than any of the rest of the Sabres top 4D.
Who are they looking to replace in the top 6 right now? Is that like a Metza thing, I assume?
That is, yeah, I think that they have some concern about what Bryson and Metza could look like in the playoffs.
Okay.
They have both been really, really good in their role for them this season. And like Metza has even been playing up with Dahlin in situations the last few games, which I think is smart to see what you've got there. But I think there is some valid concern about those guys are both really small, light players that, you know, maybe have some tendencies to have some defensive lapses. And that's not something that you want to go into the playoffs really worrying about. And what it allows you to do is spread out the minutes in a much more significant way. The Sabres play their top 4D more than almost anyone in the NHL, and it is really hard to not get worn down and get tired when you've got 4 guys all playing above 23 minutes a night. That's a lot of ice time to go out there and eat, and Parayko is a minute puncher, and so is Ristolainen. We all have known that. So those guys can just go in and, if nothing else, absorb time on ice in a positive way that allows the rest of that top 4 unit to really, you know, get out there and attack when they're on the ice.
All right, let's talk about the team as it is presently constructed, because even if nothing happens between now and tomorrow, and I think something's happening. I think there's certainly smoke, and you know, it's something's coming. I just think of being Jarmo, and you're like, I'm getting all this credit. I haven't even put my hands on this thing yet. I haven't even grabbed the wheel. So to do something, I feel like something's going to happen. Whatever it is, I trust it at this point because there's no reason not to. Because I want to talk about the way that this team came out of the break. There was some worry, some concern, of course. I would think in everyone's mind that this team is red hot, and now they're going to take a couple weeks off. And can they pick up where they left off? Obviously, a 4-game win streak is telling coming out of the break. But really, I mostly am hung up on that Tampa game. Tuning into that and watching them compete against the only other team that's as hot as they are over this exact same stretch, and they just put their, it sounds gross when I say put their, you know, foot on their throat because there's a blade involved in hockey, but you know what I'm saying. They score a couple minutes in, and then it's 2-0, and then it's 4-0 by the end of the period, and then it's 5. Like, that to me was a declarative statement by this team that they're really here right now. Like I think all of us have been kind of waiting a little bit, trying to be a little, you don't want to be overly, you don't want to buy in 100% because you just haven't seen it in so long. But the last time this team got good, it happened all of a sudden also. And it was coming out of that lockout, the 05-06 season by about December. Like, wait a minute, what are we seeing here? And that's happening again. This is that season again where the team has accelerated right past everybody. I just want to hear you talk about what you see there, about that Tampa game, about what they've been coming out of the break, and about what you think that means for this team. We talked when we were on the radio a couple weeks ago about, Alex Tuck normalized mentioning the Stanley Cup in Buffalo. We haven't been able to do that for a long time. He did it. Now fans are comfortable talking about a playoff run, not just making the playoffs, and they're proving it night in and night out, but especially that Tampa game. I can't stop thinking about that Tampa game.
Oh, absolutely. That Tampa game, there have been, you mentioned one just there. I think there have been 3 real flashpoints for me personally this season watching this team. The first of which was in that original win streak. It was New Year's Eve watching them beat Dallas. And it was similar. Like, they went out and just dominated one of the 5 best teams in the league. And I thought that night, that was the first time I said, I think they are actually really good. This team can really play. The second one was, as you just mentioned, Alex Tuck, after a win, saying the words Stanley Cup. We want to win the Stanley Cup. That was the second wave of all right, this is real. They are serious. And then I think Tampa, like you mentioned on Saturday night, just put it all over the top and was really the exclamation point at the end of that sentence where you saw them go out and truly just speed bag what it was at the time the hottest team in the whole of the NHL. And I think that they are a legit contender right now before they do anything at this deadline. And I think that's in large part due to that defensive core that we were talking about just now. I think that they play a system offensively that is unique and new and throws teams for a loop, and they are defending well, and they're getting contributions from their best players on a consistent basis. If you are getting all of that plus the goaltending they're getting, there is no reason to think that they have to lose to anybody in the NHL right now. They are ready to roll, and I'm giddy every day when I wake up and look at. The first thing I do every morning, I go look at the standings.
I know, it's so fun. It's so fun.
It's the best.
I know. I love it. All right, we talked leading into it. I don't know if it was with you or with Tim. I don't know. I did a lot of radio. But about what was going to happen with the return. Tuesday night, Sabres are finally home. It helped, of course, that they had won 3 road games coming into it. But Tage Thompson is there, and what were they going to do with Eichel? And I think at the time I forgot that Hannafin was on the team too. They had a blueprint for how to introduce him. I want to know from you. You were in the building, right?
Yep, I sure was.
All right. How did the Sabres do with that whole presentation thing, and how did the fans do? Because all I wanted, and I think I didn't see the intro part or the presentation part. I listened to it on the radio, so I was in the car at the time, but it sounded like they got it right. They actually introduced Eichel and Hannafin along with Tage Thompson. It seems like the crowd was into it. I heard a lot of USA stuff. I heard cheering. I didn't hear booing. And then once the game was happening, every time Eichel touched the puck, he got booed. I think both the Sabres and the fans absolutely nailed it on Tuesday night. Plus, they got a win, so that's good. But am I right in my perception?
100%. They crushed that pregame ceremony. I think that those things can sometimes be a little over the top and feel a little ridiculous. They avoided that, and while still acknowledging the gravity of the moment, made Tage feel really special, bringing his family out. And excuse me, like you mentioned, very, very heavy, loud cheers as they announced Eichel, for Eichel specifically. Like, it was Jack Eichel and a roar. And then the game started, puck dropped. The second Eichel touched that puck, it was a rain of boos.
Perfect.
And I think that's how it should have been. That's how it should be. You honor, you won for us, you won for the country. Thank you. But also, you took a dump on us the first time you came back, so we're going to let you have it. So I think it was perfect. The ceremony was great. Thought they did a good job honoring everybody. Fans played their part. The video, everything was great. The Sabres are hot right now. They are on and off the ice. They are not missing.
Okay, let's do assessment of the crowd in general as this season has progressed. I'm sure you've been to most or many of the home games. What are you seeing? Because what I'm getting is I'm starting to feel the hockey town thing again. We're a hockey town enough when the team's no good. A lot of people grow up playing the game around here. A lot of people are really passionate about the league. But to hit critical mass, the team needs to be really good. And you can judge it on the crowd. You can judge it on naturally occurring chants and cheering in the crowd. 1, 2, 3, 4, we want 5. That's the kind of stuff that shows up when the city is locked in. And I am feeling that. And, I'm a perfect example. I don't apologize for the fact that I have not been as locked in on this team over the last several years. I just don't have the time to watch them stink. But the second that the sport is entertaining again, the second that you're putting on a show for me, it's the best. And the playoffs are the best possible experience you can have. It's better than football playoffs, the playoffs. But you got to be a real contender. When you're a real contender, those 2 years, 06, 07, in the playoffs, you got 2 months of every other night craziness in whether downtown Buffalo or a road game. I feel the fans maybe not 100% back, but absolutely coming back. Like Ryan Whitney yesterday tweeted out a video of, holy crap, look at Buffalo again. Like, that's what it was. That's what it can be. I want you to just tell me the story of the development of the fans over the course of this season.
Yeah, man, it's been a really cool experience for me because it's my first year. I'm in the building. I'm in the press box pretty much every home game. And, to start the year, it was what we've all experienced for much of this playoff drought. It was just a half-empty building, a lot of apathy, and not really a lot of excitement no matter what was going on in the building. And I have seen a steady growth of more and more people in the building, more and more loud people in the building, more and more people talking about the team with us in the morning, with us on GR, and it is feeling like it is a volcano ready to erupt. Jeremy White very aptly described the fan base as a dormant volcano before the win streak, and I believe it is now ready to erupt. And we saw a spout on Tuesday night. I mean, you should have heard that building when they came out of the tunnel. It was as loud a building as I have ever been in my life. It was psychotic in there. And I think it's only going to keep getting better and better, especially if they keep winning and winning. And, man, I get chills thinking about game one of the playoffs.
I'm trying to think. So I talk a lot about the fact that my son, none of my children have been alive for a Sabres playoff game, which is crazy, especially because Zach, who's my height and weighs 200 pounds. We grew an entire 200-pound person in the time since the Sabres were in the playoffs. You were a little kid when the Sabres were like. What is your recollection? You're 24 years old. What's your recollection of Sabres playoff hockey?
It's very spotty bits and pieces of Rick Jenneret calls and Jason Pominville goals, but I couldn't. I gotta tell you, it's selfishly, I am so excited to forge those memories for myself for the first time as a real sentient adult. I think that it's going to be amazing to have gone through the dark ages that we all have here, especially for someone my age that has truly never seen it be what we all know it can be here. And I think that it's going to be with me for the rest of my life as we head into these playoffs. Like, I'm going to be sitting there with my dad knowing this is the first time since I've been into this game like this that we get to share that experience. And that is that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole thing. So I am excited to build upon my fragments of memory and really, build up a bank of my own.
Yeah, because you're old enough, I think, to have better memories of the two series that they lost, the Bruins series, the Flyers series. But that's not the fun part. The real stuff happened when you were 4 or something. Like, you're 4 or 5 years old. That was the good stuff. And, the thing that made me ask you this is you said that's the loudest you've heard the building. Like, I remember being in the building for the Cup final, the first Sabres home game of the Cup final against Dallas, and they did a countdown in the arena saying, all right, we're going live on whatever network it was at the time in 10, 9, and the crowd was just like, okay, well, we better put on a show and they cut to it live, and it was mayhem, absolute mayhem. And there's no way that what you saw the other day is close to that. So you still have that to look forward to, and that's what made me ask you the question. Like, this guy doesn't even know. Yep. This guy loves hockey. He's 24 years old. He has no idea what a playoff run feels like for his team and his town. God, it's gonna be cool. Oh, I'm so excited. It is. I'm so excited for you, Owen. I'm excited for me because the dormant volcano is me. I'm here. I love all of it. It just wasn't happening, so I'm not going to waste my time with 82 regular season games when nothing's going on. And I know they were 1 point out of the playoffs a couple years ago, but they weren't going to win the Cup that year. And they, real good chance they don't win the Cup this year. But there's a belief that they could. You need the belief that they can, and that injects the energy that I'm giving you right now. I'm sitting in a basement talking to you on the phone with a picture of you at age 6 on my screen, and I'm this excited about hockey that they're going to play tonight. That's cool, but I'm talking about stuff, several weeks down the road before the good stuff happens. I'm excited for the team, and I'm excited for you, Owen Parker. You deserve it, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited for myself and the whole city. I think it's just going to be an incredible, incredible time here. And it's so much fun to sit and talk about them and think about them and write about everything. It's just the most fun I've ever had.
We're going to do this more, Owen. You're my hockey guy.
All right. Sounds good. I'm ready to go.
Senior hockey correspondent Owen Parker checking in for the first of many times because we got playoffs to deal with. I can't just keep bugging Paul. Like, Paul has to work and he has to do the stuff. And I feel like you have as much energy and interest in talking about the team, but you don't have enough mic time. So you're the perfect dude to come on with me and just kind of rap about it.
I love it. I love it. I'm ready to go. Let's do it more often.
All
I'm
right.
here.
You're hired, Owen Parker.
All
Thank
right.
you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad. Good to talk to you.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. There's OP, our new senior hockey correspondent. I don't have access to the big voice guy to say, now let's check in with senior hockey correspondent Owen Parker. I don't have that guy anymore. Damn it. That's all right. AI. I'll use AI. Or I'll just talk in my own voice. In a deep voice. I can do this as well. Do you recognize that this is me speaking? You probably do. Especially if you're watching on camera. You see it coming right out of my mouth. All right. Timeout. Owen's awesome. No show tomorrow, which means we won't hear Friday by Joe Jackson tomorrow. That stinks.
Lazy Jilly was a flower child. All the summer, calmly running wild. She'd be silly and her friends just smile. Pass the bottle, wash the pills down while we're wrong. While we're wrong. She don't care no more. She don't need to fight it. She don't care no more. She gets paid on Friday. Cooler weather, it's not cool to smile. Pretty colors, going out of style. It ain't so bad when you get used to it. Once you clock in, you'll take any shit alright. Ain't that right? She don't care no more. She don't need to fight it. She don't care no more. She gets paid on Friday. Monday morning, Friday's far away. Pray you'll make it. It's a magic day. Bells will ring and you'll go out to play. Spend your money. Pass the bottle. Friday rules. Friday rules, okay. Ain't talking about Monday. Ain't talking about Tuesday. Ain't talking about Wednesday. Ain't talking about Thursday. I'm talking about what day do we get on down here in this town? She don't care no more. She don't need to fight it. She don't care no more. She gets paid on Friday. She gets paid on Friday.
Waking up in the morning, gotta be fresh, gotta go downstairs, gotta have my bowl, gotta have cereal, seeing everything the time time is going, ticking on and on, everybody's rushing. Gotta get down to the bus stop, gotta catch my bus. I see my friends kicking in the front seat, sitting in the back seat. Gotta make my mind up, which seat can I take? It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, weekend. Friday, Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, 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 partying. Fun, 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 fun. Looking forward to the weekend. We're driving on the highway, cruising so fast, I want time to fly. Fun, fun, think about fun. You know what it is. I got this, you got this. My friend is by my right. Hey, I got this, you got this. Now you know it. Kicking in the front seat, sitting in the back seat. Gotta make my mind up. Which seat can I take? It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, weekend. Friday, Friday. Getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, 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 partying. Fun, 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 fun. Looking forward to the weekend. Thursday was Thursday, Thursday. Today, yeah, it's Friday, Friday. We so excited. We so excited. We gonna have a ball today. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday comes afterwards. I don't want this weekend to end. It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. We gonna get down Friday, Friday. Getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, 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 partying. Fun, 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 fun. Looking forward to the weekend. Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, weekend. Friday, Friday. Getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, 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 partying. Fun, 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 fun. Looking forward to the weekend.
But it started out just like a dreaming, like a dream. I knew that what we had would have to end. 'Cause I was looking for a lifetime lover and you were looking for a friend. Someone to be there after all your nighttime lovers had gone the way they came. Someone who knew the way to help you play your daytime game. It's not the same. Well, I started out pretending that I'd come to mean enough to you to make you want to change. Then I came to realize that there was just too much of you you'd have to rearrange. And I couldn't bear to wait around for all your nighttime lovers to go the way they came. And it came to hurt too much for me to have to play your daytime games. No one's to blame. It started out just like a dreaming, like a dream. I knew that what we had
Thursday in the afternoon for a couple of beers and a game of pool. We used to go to a motel across the street. And the name of the motel was a Wagon Wheel. One day she said, come on. She said, why don't you come back to my house? She said, my husband's out of town, you know he's gone till the end of the month. Well, I was just so nervous, you know I couldn't really quite relax. Cause I was never really quite sure when her husband was coming back. One of the neighbors that saw my car. And I told her, yeah, they told her, they think they know who you are. Well, her husband, he's a violent man, a very violent and jealous man. Now I have to leave this town, I gotta leave, well, I still can. Should have kept it every Thursday in the afternoon for a couple of beers and a game of pool. We should have kept it every Thursday in the afternoon for a couple of beers and a game of pool. She was pretty good too.
The next song that came up on Shuffle was the cover of a Rolling Stone by Dr. Hook, but that would have screwed up the plan because I just played two songs called Friday because there's no show tomorrow. And I played two songs called Thursday, neither of which I recognized, but one was Jim Croce. I trust him. The other was Morphine, and I think I need to listen to more Morphine. That's that saxophone. It's just so cool. The whole vibe of everything Morphine, the band. Not the drug. I'm not saying I need morphine, more morphine. Like, no, I'm not strung out. That sounded good. It was a song called Thursday. So, no show tomorrow because it's the MAC Wrestling Championship. And it's at UB, and all these teams are going to be there, and I'm the PA announcer, and I have to be there at 10 o'clock. And I'm not going to, pre-record anything. Whatever. Sabres are going to play tonight. I'll watch it. They're going to play again. They're going to play 3 times before I talk to you again. The deadline will come and go. So there will potentially be new people on the team. And also they've got 6 potential points to earn between now and when I speak to you again on Monday when we do Writer Radio. Oh, this is going to screw it up. We're just going to skip episode 270. I like the numeric system. If you've been with me for 269 episodes, you understand what I'm saying here. Episodes that end in a 1 are Monday, or end in a 6 are Monday. If they end in a 5 or a 0, they're Friday. And tomorrow should be 270. We're just going to pretend. Maybe I'll string something together and hit play on it. I have been meaning to take every minute of the 2 weeks I did on GR. I've got almost all of it. recorded on some file somewhere on my phone, somewhere on the computer. But I've got, it's 20 hours of me on the radio that when you trim out the fat, it's really every hour is really 45 minutes because it's 3 5-minute breaks. But I'm missing like maybe 2 or 3 of the hours, but I've got most of it. And I can just string it together and put it on a loop and call that episode 270 or something. Maybe I will do that just to keep the math in place. But there will not be a live Writer Radio tomorrow at 7, so plan accordingly. Find something else to do. Come watch wrestling. Come hang out with me at UB. If you've got the day off for some reason, you're just randomly available at 10 a.m. on a Friday, go for it. From Jeremy Text Club, it appears the Bills are trading for DJ Moore, says Nick in Depew. I'm not in the Jeremy Text Club. Give me more. Nick, tell me more. Do I have to Google DJ Moore? I was about to talk about something else Jeremy did online yesterday. Now we got more Jeremy. All right. I'm going to just see what we can find. All right. If this is what we're doing, as the show ends, that's fine. Dues. Bears rumors on DJ Moore's future, potential trade, 2 teams to watch and potential trade. Bears reportedly, Yahoo Sports, Bears reportedly trading DJ Moore to Bills. All right, let's click on that. That's a thing. Oh, there's another ESPN. Bills agree to trade to acquire Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. Sources say. The Bears, this is moments ago, 7 minutes ago. All right, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news, I said. Chicago Bears have agreed to a trade. Send wide receiver DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The trade can't be finalized until the start of the 2026 league year next week. The move gives quarterback Josh Allen a top target at wide receiver that has been missing since the team traded Stephon Diggs to the Texans in 2024. Moore had 50 receptions for 682 yards and 6 touchdowns last season, his third with the Bears. In 3 seasons with Chicago, he has 244 catches for 3,012 yards and 20 touchdowns. He also ripped off his helmet after scoring a touchdown when he was playing for Carolina that pushed that was unsportsmanlike, and it pushed the thing back, the extra point back, and then they missed the extra point, so they didn't tie the game. That's when I think of DJ Moore, what I think of is him ripping his helmet off after scoring a touchdown. Doesn't mean I don't want him. Just saying that's the first thing I think of when I think of that dude. But okay, all right. What do I need to know about DJ Moore? He's been a guy in the league who took his helmet off and went to Chicago. Where do I want to go? Football Reference or Wikipedia? We'll go Reference. Let's just look at numbers. Let's look at his age. Let's look at his size. He's just one of those guys that I don't have a strong opinion on. But I know the Bears were really into getting him. Verify I'm human. I'm human. You know I'm human. 6 foot tall, 213. He throws with his right arm. If you need that. Let's see. In his career, he's played 131 games. Been in the league since 2018, just like Josh. All right, so Josh Allen, aged receiver. 5 years with Carolina, 3 with Chicago. 4 of those have been 1,000-yard seasons. All of them actually 1,100 or better. His best year, 1,364, which is his first year with the Bears. That year he had 96 catches. The following year he had 98 catches. This year he dropped down to 50. As the Bears got better. The Bears got better as his numbers declined. I want this. I assume this does not involve a first-round pick. Don't have any word on that. Okay. He's got... What am I looking for here? What numbers? What am I supposed to look at? He was targeted 163 times once in Carolina, catching 93 for 1157 and 4 touchdowns. Most touchdowns he's ever had is 8. He's never played with Josh Allen, though. I don't have a strong opinion on DJ Moore. Good. I'm still working to improve the room, but like, I guess it's just me. DJ Moore, Elijah Moore. Same in my head. Like, it doesn't mean they're the same player. I think I've kind of had them confused for years as two guys that didn't really matter that much to me, and they've merged in my head. I do know DJ Moore took his helmet off and cost his team a game. So don't do that anymore. Anymore. Get it? Because that's his name, DJ Moore. What's DJ stand for? Deniston Moore Jr. So he's Deniston Jr. Moore, DJ. Okay, I'm fine with that. Deniston. Not a name I'm familiar with. I don't know that as an actual name. Where is he from? Played at Maryland. He grew up in Philly. Born in 97. He's been alive the whole time I've been in radio. That's good. April 97. I got hired at GR in August 97. So at least he's been... none of this, like, I was born in 2004. Like, what are you talking about? These post 9/11 athletes confuse me. All right, he's born in 97. He's 28. He'll be 29 by the time the season starts. He's 28 years old plus 325 days. So he's 40. He's April 14th. Turns 29 on April 14th. I'm okay with that. Played at Maryland. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look at the comps down at the bottom. That's a good move. Tim Graham did that when we were on the radio a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what he discovered, but it was interesting. Where are the comps? I'm not going to be able to find them. Come on. More DJ Moore page. I don't need more pages. I just need the player game versus finder. Where's comps? He's on Instagram as DJ Moore. You know that? Frequently asked questions. How old is he? 28. When was he born? April 14th, 97. Where was he born? Philly. How tall? 6 foot. What does he weigh? 213. How many games does DJ Moore play? What? He played 17 games last season, 131 over his career. Let's look at his health. Let's check that out. In his career, 16, 15, 15, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. He hasn't missed a game in 5 years. Okay. Like that. He has started all but one of those games since his rookie year. He started 10 of 16 as a rookie, then 15 of 15, then 14 of 15, and then 17 of 17 the rest of the time. All right, legit. That story checks out. That's good. Does he ever run the ball? Yes. As a rookie, he carried it 13 times. Last year, he carried it 15 times for 79 yards. 14 the year before that. He's got a 10 mixed in there. He's got 72 carries. Okay. You know, probably end around type of stuff. Jet sweep, but we'll take that. What else do we want to know about this dude who seems to be coming to the Bills? Does he have to waive a no-trade clause? Do we have to see what the St. Louis Blues think before he comes here? What an active weekend of Buffalo sports this is. Excellent point, AC man. DJ Moore got 300 targets with Joe Brady in 2020 and 2021. Carolina connection. There it is. All right. See, I didn't have anything prepared. I didn't think about DJ Moore showing up on the Bills with 10 minutes left in my show. So I didn't have all these connections to make. This is just me reacting live. This is fine. I'm not like over the moon, but I like it. I definitely like it. That's better than not doing that, right? I mean, obviously, I need to hear what is going away to bring him in, but this was the move. This was the move to revamp the wide receiver room. The move is a veteran from somewhere, and yeah, there's the Justin Jefferson pipe dream that's been out there because of the Brady connection and them not having a quarterback really and all that stuff. Like that one, I've prepared. I know what I would say if the Bills acquired Justin Jefferson. I know what I would say for that. I don't have a prepared statement for DJ Moore, but okay, that makes sense. The Brady part of it, it's a little confusing that Chicago's parting with him. I'm curious about the contract situation. Let's check on that. What is up? Let's check with Spot Track, Mike Giannetti. I'm going to say our good friend. I don't know him at all, but everybody drops his name. He's local, so we like him. All right, let's look up DJ Moore. New Bills receiver, according to Adam Schefter. Seems like kind of Jeremy White, although he might just be telling us what Adam Schefter said. I don't know. I haven't talked to Jer. Jer, if you're listening, call in. Tell me what you know. His 2026 cap hit is $24.5 million, so he immediately becomes the second highest paid Buffalo Bill. He's behind Josh and ahead of Deion Dawkins. Oh, wow, he's locked in for a while. And they've got him on the Bills, so this happened. I'm on Spot Track, and he's a Bill. Okay. Once Spot Track jumps ahead and converts you into a Buffalo Bill, you are a Buffalo Bill. So what's the situation? He is base salary of about $23.5 million per year. There's a potential out in 2028. So he's here for 2 years. It appears. I'm taking this as truth, right? I mean, I get my information from somebody in the chat, and then he references Jeremy, and then Yahoo says it, and then Schefter says it, and then I go to Spot Track to look at his contract, and they have a Bills logo next to him for 2026 through 2030 when he becomes an unrestricted free agent. So I'm going to call that a done deal. Having no other way, that's enough confirmation. Traded to Buffalo for TBD is what it says here in the chat. What do you guys know? Two of DJ Moore's highest productive years were with Joe Brady. Yep. Rappaport has a mid-round pick going back. Barring a negotiation, the Bills will acquire. Barring a renegotiation, the Bills will acquire DJ Moore on a 4-year, $98 million contract that includes a bunch of numbers that I kind of just said already, about $24.5 million every year. Nick says that's a bit higher than I would have thought, but a wide receiver is a wide receiver, I guess. Agreed. A restructure would be nice, says AC Man. Yeah, sure. All right, this is real. Breaking news. Breaking news right here on RITER Radio. You got to love breaking news, right? Also, just solidifying that piece before free agency, before you have to go, I was going to say overpay, but the reality is getting somebody who signed a contract a couple years ago is better than getting somebody who's going to sign a contract now. Everything goes up. So dude under contract is appealing for sure. As you can tell, I'm just thinking out loud about all of this. But this is definitely a positive. I just, I'm not super familiar with the player. My kids, this is where it would be nice. I hate when they're always off from school, but if today was a snow day, I think we're done with those. If today was a snow day, I'd be able to just bring one of my kids down and be like, tell me about DJ Moore, because all you do is watch wide receivers on YouTube. And, we'll see what they think. And I'll tell you all of that on Monday. We'll get their reactions. Nate and Drew care a lot about wide receivers. We went yesterday because it was in the it got like mid-50s yesterday. And we went to one of the high schools. We always go to the high school fields because they're turf. When it's this kind of weather, where it's like, hey, it's warmer than it was, but the grass is disgusting and we're just going to ruin everything if we're running around in the grass, we go to the turf fields at the high schools around here. So sometimes it's, for me, Will South. Sometimes it's Will North. Yesterday it was Will South, and I just went and hung out and threw passes to my 11-year-old for, I don't know, an hour and a half as he's running routes and telling me what he wants to do and talking about wide receivers. They love receivers. So getting Nate's reaction would be great. I don't think it's worth pulling him out of school. And I'm not doing a show tomorrow. But by Monday, I should know what Nate thinks about this. All right, DJ Moore to the Bills. That's fun. It's very fun. And doing it ahead of free agency. Legal tampering starts on Monday, so we'll have all that. This doesn't completely resolve the room to me. But draft picks are cheap as far as cap hit is concerned. So DJ Moore plus what you already have, plus a draft pick or two to compete for spots and find roles. I still want a 6'3", 6'4" dude. Unless they decide they've got those in their tight ends. And that's not necessarily what they need. I mean, Steph Diggs was not big, is not big, and was a massive contributor to this Bills team. But for a good chunk of that, they had Gabe Davis, who was big. So I'm still looking for that dude. I'm always looking for Eric Moulds. That's what I'm always looking for, is that caliber of athlete at that size. It's not easy to find. We've only had one of him here ever. But that's what I'm seeking in the draft. So if that's available, first round or not, this really solidifies things. This helps. This plus draft, plus free agency still exists. That was supposed to be free agency. Those are the words. I went, free agency. That's how it came out, but that's not what I meant. All right, I'm going to stop, but that's exciting. Thank you to whoever brought it up in the chat. I appreciate it, because that would have been stupid. If I turned this off, I would have ended up coming back on. Be like, hey, the Bills just got DJ Moore, and none of you would be here. So that would stink. But we did it. We did it, Buffalo. All right, we're here watching for hockey trades. Bang, football trade. The hell's going on, Buffalo? Sports. Yeah. This show has become so sportsy lately. I still like other things. I wanted to talk about, Jeremy put a thing online yesterday about bar that you watch Sabres playoff hockey in that doesn't exist anymore. And that led me down this whole rabbit hole. I'm not very active on Twitter, but yesterday I got a little active on Twitter because I just started thinking about bars. And I don't know that I've ever watched a Sabres playoff game in a bar. So I've been working for all of them, or I was a kid. I was a kid that couldn't go to bar. Oh, you know where I went? Here's one. The In-Between, which is in Geneseo, is the Barn Bar. That's gone. But I was there for the ridiculous Brodeur Hasek multi-overtime craziness game. And like the game was going to go on beyond 2 o'clock, and they agreed, because bars close at 2 in Geneseo. They agreed to stay open to let us watch the game. I don't think they could serve us drinks anymore. But then it turned out it ended before 2 o'clock, so it was fine. But there was a contingency plan in place to allow Sabres fans to continue watching their playoff game. That's the last time I remember watching a playoff game in a bar. I'm always either home or like working. I'm at the game, or I'm at a radio station, or whatever. And you're like, really, Brad? You haven't worked at a radio? Yeah, they haven't been in the playoffs in a while either. It's been a long time. So I like playoff hockey bar thing is not a thing for me. Sabres playoffs in the bar. That said, I started thinking about places that I would consider my bar, and it's incredible the number of bars that at some point I would have really considered mine. Starting with Grant Central Station. I was in high school. I was in high school for that one. They just let us go there. I don't know how that works. Vinny's at the like the crotch of the road of Clinton and Old French in West Seneca, Cheektowaga. I'm not sure exactly what it is right there. That was my place. That I strongly believe, and if I got Vinny on the phone, I think he might verify this. I strongly believe that business has been running for as long as it has, in large part because of me. Because I think I was the first one to go to him and say, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring our softball team? I assure you that we will come in there and we'll spend a ton of money every week. And we'll be there late, and it'll be good. And then we did it, and it worked. And then we did it for years. And then the next thing you know, there are 7 other teams there just on Fridays. And then that is a softball sponsoring bar. And I think I started that. And Vinny might agree. I haven't seen Vinny in a while. He's cool. Ray Walter, the great Ray Walter, says, according to Spot Track, do we know that it's Spot Track and not Spo Track? Probably, right? Because the guy is local. Mike Giannetti is local. And everybody knows him. I don't know him, but everybody knows him. And if we were saying the name of the site wrong collectively, he would have let us know by now. All right, I'm going to say Spot Track. Okay, so according to Ray, according to Spot Track, Buffalo can process a full salary conversion on DJ Moore upon acquiring him, lowering his cap hit to $6.75 million in 2026, creating $17.7 million of space. All right, Brandon Bean. All right. I don't understand what you do, but it seems like you're good at it. That's some nice math right there. Thanks to Ray. Thanks to Mike Giannetti. Thanks to Brandon Bean for all of that. The show is going to end at some point. I was talking about bars. Vinny's felt like that was my bar for a while. Hashtag the cap isn't real. That's right. Caputi's. I'm on the Wall of Fame at Caputi's. That one still exists. It's not gone. Vinny's still exists. Not gone. But other things that I would consider my bar at some point, Shadow Lounge. Shadow Lounge is, I think, burning Buffalo now. That's probably my favorite. Well, aside from the Palace Lounge, which was in Geneseo, which, man, we ran that place. Like me and my friends, I worked there briefly, but it was more about just that was our place. We would go there for Friday happy hour. We would beat the bartender there. We'd be waiting outside for him to show up and let us in at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. And we would just sit and play euchre and darts and use the jukebox, and it was awesome. If on, my deathbed, like, what is your bar, Brad? The answer is Palace Lounge, for sure. But Shadow Lounge comes close. Shadow Lounge was walking distance, if I needed it, from my North Buffalo apartment while I was single for 7 years, 6 years, whatever. I lived in the same place by myself, and that was my place. So shout out to Shadow Lounge. I think that's probably it. I wrote down other things like Places. I didn't go there a ton, but that was cool. The year that I lived, well, actually right around here, as it turns out. That's gone. We used to go to Wild Wings on Elmwood a lot. I know it's a chain, and it's kind of blasphemous to talk about a Wild Wings place in Buffalo, and it's a wing place based in Columbus using our name. Stolen valor. But they had a lot of TVs. Not every place had a lot of TVs. I remember we watched a lot of the O2 World Series. I watched a lot of the O2 World Series at Wild Wings on Elmwood. Wouldn't totally call it my place, but sort of. Played softball and went to Coles a lot. That never felt like it was my place. At the height of the rebirth of Chippewa, Concrete, I feel like was my place. I wrote down Pure Platinum, but I don't want to talk about that. Locker Room is like a high school, early college, underage thing. Gone. There's also a softball. I can't remember the name of the bar on Delaware Avenue in Kenmore, where we always went for softball. It might even still exist. I don't know, but that was kind of our place for a while. That was a Tuesday night softball thing. I think that's all of them I wrote down. That's it. But places I could consider mine. Number 1, Palace. Number 2, Shadow. The rest of it is ancillary, I guess. My bars over the years. Pub on Broadway. Ying's. Crab Apples. 33 Crab Apples. Depew Duff's. Pub Skis / Four Stallions. I will say Four Stallions is kind of, it's not my place, but it's many of my friends' places. We play basketball in the gym behind Four Stallions. So, like, when I talked about watching the gold medal game in a bar at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, that was Four Stallions. I like Four Stallions. Cash only, but there is an ATM. I never remember when I'm, because I don't go out to bars aside from like going to trivia, which I stopped doing to host trivia, but now we're not hosting trivia anymore, so I'll probably be going to trivia again on Tuesdays. But that's just wherever, the place that's close enough to me and John and Dan, because that's basically our team. And it's kind of in the middle of that, and we always go there. But I don't consider that my bar. Maybe I should. It's the only bar I go to regularly. Other than that, it's Four Stallions when like one of the baseball or softball or baseball or basketball people in my life, like, hey, let's, we'll have our basketball meeting there. We'll do our draft there. So yeah, that's on my list. Crab apples. Want to hear my crab apple story? All right, I'll tell you my crab apple story. We were, I was at GR, and they had, Crab Apples was advertising on WGR at the time. And they, for whatever reason, decided in their advertisements to talk about how hot their bartenders or waitresses or something were. And the whole thing was like, come to Crab Apples, this place is awesome. And the women, my God, you're going to love this. And the coach, R.I.P. Chuck Dickerson, did a remote, which is a full show. He was on from whatever it was, 2 to 6 or 3 to 6 or whatever. And he went out there and did a show, and then I was doing the show too after him. So it was like a whole remote setup at Crab Apples on Genesee Street, corner of Genesee and is it Beach, or does Beach run the other way? I think it's Genesee and Beach in Cheektowaga. And so Chuck did his show, and I got there, 45 minutes before my show started. Let's say he's on 3 to 6, I'm on 6 to 10. And I walked in, and he took off his headset because he was in a break. And he said to me, this is the worst case of false advertising that I've ever seen. And he was referring to the staff. He's dead now. I don't mind saying it. I don't work there. I'm not a part of it. I don't know that they have a relationship with the radio station anymore. But they were really promoting the hotness of the waitresses. And Chuck, who's probably 72 years old at the time, it's like, this is the worst case of goddamn false advertising I ever seen. And he's not subtle about it. Chuck's not subtle about anything. So that happened. That's what I think of when I think of Crab Apples. I think I'm going to stop now. DJ Moore to the Bills. That's exciting. We'll talk about it on Monday. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll probably put something on, but it won't be live. It's 12:23. I promised I'd be here till 12. I'd just keep going. But the Bills made a trade right before I was getting off the air, so I didn't get off the air. Here I am. But I'm done now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking in. Thanks to Owen Parker for joining me today on episode 269 of RITER Radio. Bye.
RITER Radio is a
Wrong
DKR
button.
media production.
No, not that one. It's supposed to be the go to lunch. That was RITER Radio Daily Open. What I wanted to hit was go to lunch outro. Here it is.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?